So you've been riding for about 7-ish, 8-ish months or so. Did you feel the effects of the winglets? That's the most important question. In terms of like throttle feel and dynamics, like did you feel like it's a way nicer riding experience than MT10 or like a little bit nicer? What'd you think? All right, folks, let's just cut right to the chase. You're a degenerate squid and you want to go fast on the street. Well, accept no substitutes. Get a Yamaha MT10. It's cheap, it goes fast, it makes a bunch of horsepower, and they're readily available. But maybe you want the finer things in life. You want a little bit of exotica and you're willing to pony up the extra cash and get the Street Fighter V4S. In today's video, we're gonna find out if it's worth it to pony up the extra money and get something like this Ducati, or if you should just go and buy the Yamaha. Let's find out. Before we see how Brandon got along with the Street Fighter V4S, I wanted to take a second to shout out today's sponsor, Manscaped. Guys, how many times have you nicked yourself shaving your sack? Be honest with me, there's no judgment. You're out there getting fresh for the homies, and then suddenly you start bleeding from the one place you don't need to be bleeding from. Avoid all this mess with the Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0. Has patented no-nick technology with a ceramic blade that I kid you not, I've been using for over 4 years. Well, not that specific blade, but I've been using Manscaped products for over 4 years. Can you believe they've been supporting our channel for that long? I can't. Right now, they've also got their new body buffing tool and body wash that's designed to exfoliate your skin and keep you fresh. Fans of the Yam get 20% off by hitting the link down below and getting their code automatically added. So what are you waiting for? Hit the link down below, get fresh with Manscaped, and make sure you get all of your male grooming needs covered. Thanks again to them for supporting this video. Now back to the show. Alrighty folks, today's MT10 was brought to you by Brandon. He is a fan of the channel and over on our Discord server as well. He's known as Mommy's first motorcycle disciple, isn't that right?
That's right.
That's a good nickname on the server.
Are
you proud of that?
Very proud.
So you brought this MT10 for us down from Dallas. We really appreciate it. Tell us about your ride. Why'd you pick it?
So I picked this because I rented a 2015 R1 and it had the same exhaust and everything, and I fell in love with the sound and the power it made. But I also commute 60 miles one way every day. So I wanted something that was comfortable and I had cruise control.
Yeah. Kind of did the big brain move, didn't go with the super bike, went with something a little ergonomically comfortable, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. But you started riding March of this year, you told me, right? So you've been riding for about 7-ish, 8-ish months or so. What was your first bike?
It's a 2015 ZX6R.
2015 ZX, this is what I'm telling you, MT10, not even once, folks. This goes down a dark path of squidding and high horsepower stuff. But you've never ridden something like this Ducati, right?
No, never.
Are you curious about it?
Definitely curious.
Coming from the MT10, it's a little bit more bare bones. What do you think about the Ducati? It's obviously almost twice as much money. Do you think it's twice as much bike?
You definitely get a lot more features there that you wouldn't get in a standard MT10.
Yeah. What's something on this that you kind of wish the MT10 had?
Standard, since I'm a commuter, definitely heated grips.
Yeah.
And an auto blipper.
Yeah, the auto blipper and heated grips is nice. So giving you guys some baseline specs, MT10's powered by Yamaha's lovable 999cc cross plane 4, making what, 160 horse, right?
Around 160, yes.
160 horsepower on this bad boy, whereas the Ducati over here has that 1103cc V4 making 207 horsepower. So it's about a 40 to 50 horsepower delta between these two motorcycles. Now, don't let that fool you, because MT10 is master of torque, right? And I know you love doing wheelies on this thing and you love the feeling of torque on it, right?
Oh yeah. It lives half its life on one wheel.
Yeah, my favorite thing about the MT bikes is how much torque they make. And the Street Fighter is definitely kind of a lower power down low type of thing. You really got to rev it out a little bit. I think it redlines at like 15 or 16,000 RPM, which is just insane for a naked bike. I mean, it comes from the Panigale V4S, so of course. What else do you like about the MT10?
I mean, like I said, it's comfortable. It makes really good sounds, of course, because it's a CP4.
That's it, simple enough, yeah.
CP4 noises.
So this bike in this colorway is one of my favorites, this like highlighter yellow, dark gunmetal gray combo. This one's pretty rare to see. You don't see this colorway that often.
Not at all.
Yeah, they only made it for 2018, I think, right? So that's pretty cool. I think we need to hear how both of these bikes sound, and then we're gonna get Brandon on the Street Fighter V4S. Then we're gonna come back and talk about the differences between these two bikes and ultimately give you guys context of which one you should get if you're a hyper naked squid. So Brandon, you came back from the Street Fighter V4S ride. What'd you think of the bike?
The bike is an absolute animal.
Yeah.
Especially in the top end compared to the MT10 where it's all low at mid-end torque.
Yeah. You were telling me that you were a little surprised of how much revs you still had to go, right?
Yeah. On the MT10, I look down and I'm at the top of my power and 12,000 RPMs. I go to this and I'm at 12,000. I still have another 3,000 of power to go.
Yeah, it's so hard to wrap your mind around when you're riding that bike because it's a naked bike, but you have to really rev it like a super bike. It's crazy. Like it's all the power is at the top. In terms of like throttle feel and dynamics, like did you feel like it's a way nicer riding experience than MT10 or like a little bit nicer? What do you think?
It was a little bit nicer.
Yeah.
It was smooth. It wasn't jumpy at all.
Yeah.
But I'd say overall it wasn't too crazy compared to my MT10.
Yeah. Did you like stuff like the auto blipper or the TFT as opposed to the MT10 is a little more bare bones?
Well, the MT10 doesn't even have an auto blipper.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it's nice to have an auto blipper when you're slowing down
Yeah.
or just getting ready to do a pull.
Yeah, on track, the auto blipper is great because it allows you to focus primarily on your braking force and you don't have to just bang down gears. Did you like it?
It was very fun.
Yeah.
It's definitely easy to get into trouble on that thing.
Did you feel the effects of the winglets? That's the most important question.
I don't know if I went fast enough to to get the downforce going, but
Yeah. Yeah, I think you got to hit about 186 miles per hour to feel that downforce. So don't think you did that on public roads today in Austin. Yeah, for my money, I think the MT10 is a great buy, guys. Honestly, like this motorcycle, I joke with Whitney here at the office that it's hard to look at, but you don't have to look at it while you're riding it. It's a ton of fun to ride. It's so track capable. And, as cool as these like hyper exotic naked bikes are, at some point you are just paying for the brand name and you are just paying for the ultimate flex. I do think that the electronic suspension on this Ducati is a very cool feature over the box standard suspension on this bike, personally. I don't know if you could feel that at all on the road. Probably not, right?
No,
yeah,
not
it's hard to really get a sense for electronic suspension when you're just pooling around on the road. Yeah, I feel like the Street Fighter V4S, the sound that it makes at the top end is just
you
crazy.
You get that MotoGP sound on the top end.
Yeah.
Whereas the MT10, it doesn't have the top end quite like the R1M does or the R1.
Yeah, I think the Street Fighter here, really MotoGP engine characteristics. Whitney was actually filming me riding around and doing a couple pulls on these corners, and she was like, it sounds like you're literally pitting in like a Coda, like with a GP bike. I'm like, that's pretty rad. And maybe that's the only reason you buy a bike like that. There's really not much thought you have to put into it. I think you bought this bike because you're like, yeah, I like the sound.
Yeah, CP4 noises.
CP4 noises, that's it, that's all you need. And I think sometimes people overcomplicate their buying choices, right? And I don't really know if people are cross-shopping these two bikes, but I'd like to tell you guys that if you own an MT10, much like you do, Brandon, you're not missing out that much by not riding something like this. You're still getting the hyper naked bike experience.
Oh, yeah.
As I mentioned previously, the MT10 is a really sweet machine. I've got plenty of opportunity and chances and experience on this platform. I've ridden several on the street. I've ridden one on the track. And the MT10 is an awesome motorcycle with that R1 frame and that CP4 engine. You really just can't go wrong with that combination. Even though it has a pretty bone standard suspension and it doesn't have the fancy IMU, the fundamentals are so strong on the MT10 that it kind of just blows away all the other Japanese naked bikes, in my opinion. And it really starts to compete with stuff like the 210, the Street Fighter, and the Super Duke. That's really where the MT10's playing at, in my opinion. And it's a super fun motorcycle to ride. Again, MT stands for Master of Torque, and it definitely is the master. All right, guys, let us know down below what you think about the MT10 versus the Street Fighter. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'm sure you're already commenting away, talking about the defense of the lovable, ugly MT10 here. Sorry, Brandon, but it's a Transformers Decepticon-looking bike. We have to agree that the Ducati is a more sophisticated, beautiful machine.
I agree.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Even as an MT10 owner.
I think the new MT10 is a little more successful. I think it's a bit more of a successful design.
A lot of people say it looks like an Angry Mantis.
It does look like an Angry Mantis. I could see that, yeah. But you guys let us know down below what you think of these two machines. If you like seeing this sort of fan review and fan content, let me know down below. This has been a ton of fun to make. We want to bring more people out here to YamiNoob HQ and do videos like this. So if you have a cool motorcycle you want me to ride in the Texas Central area, shoot me an email over at videos@yaminoob.co, and I will try to get back to you as much as I can. Thanks again, Brandon, for coming out.
Yeah,
we'll catch you guys in the next one. See you later.